Hello, my name is Susan Williams, and we are going to take a look right now at how to sanitize our equipment. So there are a number of options here, and we're going to go through each of them because some are going to have better merits than others. I've just gotten a random selection here. So we have some of our Pledge, which is a multi-surface cleaner. This one is not specifically antibacterial, but it is safe for most surfaces. So we're going to come back to that one. Our second option is this denatured alcohol, which is actually a fuel. They use this for marine stoves. The reason that I chose this one, though, is because it has an extremely high percentage of alcohol content, being denatured alcohol, and that is a option that we can use to sanitize and disinfect. Third, good old Lysol. Lysol is known for disinfecting things, especially when you have like the flu. Someone's sick at your house, you can just spray it down with Lysol. Most surfaces are going to be okay with this one as well. And then the fourth option that I have are some Clorox disinfectant wipes. The one thing to know about these different objects, and I've done a fair amount of research on this, is that it doesn't matter what brand it is, and it doesn't really matter what surface it's meant to clean. It does as far as like making sure things are safe. But what you want to look for is on these containers, they have a list. So this one has a full list. And I don't know if we're going to get that on the camera. We'll see. This one has a full list of what organisms and what kind of viruses it will disinfect and for how long. And that's what's really important because every cleaner that you buy, all of these are going to have different times for disinfect and different things that they will. This one specifically says that we need to keep the surface visibly wet for 4 minutes. So once you wipe with this, it has to actually be wet for 4 entire minutes before it will disinfect those things. So every single one that you buy is going to have a different number. I've seen some that were up to 15 minutes to disinfect. So that's the most important takeaway here, is when you get a cleaner and you're trying to wipe it down for the next person, read the label, read the directions, and make sure you follow them specifically. So for things like denatured alcohol that doesn't have directions, that's why we're here right now together. So that's what we're going to take a look at. Some common things that we might need to wipe down. So we're going to take a look at our first item that needs to be sanitized, which is a microphone. To wipe down the edges is really easy, but what we really care about is the grill here. So previously at my other job, I think I was probably the only person to ever clean these, which was disturbing then and more so now. But you take the grill off here, and I used to take this with some mouthwash and a toothbrush, and you just scrubby scrub. And the mouthwash was pretty good because it would let it dry quickly, so you weren't getting the foam in here too wet, but it was still disinfecting, and it still kind of met that several minute mark of alcohol cleaning. And that was great, and it kept it minty fresh, which is even better. I don't think that's going to work for disinfecting purposes now because that was more for general cleaning. So if we actually want to disinfect this, there's a couple of options. I can use the wipes here, but that's not really going to get up into our foam. So a quick spray with our Lysol where we thoroughly wet the grill should be sufficient, but you really need to get it in there. And then that's going to take a couple minutes to dry. You don't want to over wet it though. If you wet the insides too much and it doesn't dry properly, that can be an issue. You also want to make sure that it's separate from your microphone when you do this because you can't get any of these pieces too wet. I believe you can spray these, and I'll double check with one of our beautiful crew members. Craig, can I spray this part with Lysol as well? Quickly. He says quickly. So if I do a very quick disinfect, then that should be good. The wetness for several minutes part is going to be, however long you spray it and how much you want to make sure that you're protecting your equipment while also keeping it clean. But just doing this part is sufficient. So the handle and everything that I've sprayed, that's nice and wet, should be good. The things that we're watching out for is not only to disinfect our items, but also we don't want to take off any of the paint. So this paint is really the issue where it comes to using these stronger cleaners, because if we wash that paint off, if it's our own microphone, maybe not a big deal. But if it's a client's equipment or something that you're renting from a facility, that's going to be a problem if you wipe away a lot of their stuff. So we're going to try to keep it as quick as possible while still disinfecting everything. So our next item I'm going to grab is our belt pack. And again, I could Lysol that really quick or wipe it down with the wipes. And then we'll take a look at our microphones. So these I used to just grab an alcohol wipe and wipe them down and let them dry. The Clorox one, I feel okay. This is covered. It's got a plastic piece on it, so I can wipe that down really nicely. And then the part here where it has the label, that is not covered. So I'm just going to do a quick wipe with that. If I keep scrubbing it, then I can potentially wipe that off. But just a quick wipe, and that one's good. With my microphone, though, again, this part, this is the same kind that I'm wearing. This part here, which I'm sure it's difficult to see with my beautiful gloves on, is very small. So I'm just going to really quickly wipe and then wipe the cable. And let that chill out. I'm going to do the same thing for this one. Just a quick wipe. If I oversaturate this or like dunk it in something, then I can damage the element and I can damage the cable. These get sweat out is a common thing that happens with these cables, so you want to keep them nice and dry. So I will wipe it and then kind of loosely wrap it so I don't have too many cables and let it chill so that it dries. Best practice is probably to use a new wipe every single time. That would be my suggestion. Each object that you're cleaning gets a new wipe. I'm going to work on our console now. This one specifically, we have all of these little gummy buttons, and these gummy buttons will get worn away anyway, so we don't want to expedite that process at all. So I'm going to avoid saturating these too much, and I'm really going to focus on things that are high touch on a console, like this part. We lean on this a lot. So I'm going to wipe that part down. Faders, I can just do a quick wipe down each one. And then on my mute buttons, this is where I'm going to be really particular because I don't want to wipe away those labels. So anything else that I can touch that's got a hard surface, like these faders, I will. So like the edges here, I can wipe with this, and you want to make sure you saturate that pretty hard. The screen needs its own. I can't really use cleaners on our LCD screen because that will damage it. This isn't a touch screen anyway, so it's probably not a huge problem. Anything that you do need to clean touch screen wise, you would use like a microfiber towel, or I'll just grab one of these shop towels and kind of gently wipe that off. But there's no cleaners or anything because, like I said, it's not a touch screen. So I'm just going to wipe it down, mostly because it looks kind of gross. It's really my goal with that one. Same thing with my scribble strip here. Again, no cleaner because it's not a touch. Just wiping it down because it was a little bit yucky. Lysol again. Quickly okay, and then that will dry, and it should take a couple of minutes. But again, I was really concerned, and I think I'm just going to wipe down the scribble strip area again because I don't want any of those parts to be too wet for too long. And that should do it. That should keep everything nice and clean and safe for you and for whoever else is going to use it. I would pay the most attention to things like microphone grills. And then for your console, quick spray with Lysol should be all that you need. Hopefully this helps you so that you feel a little bit more confident when you rent gear or you're using sharing equipment with other people.